So, hey guys, I'm Ryan, as you guys probably know. Tonight, because we're in Lent, I'm going to be talking about Lenten resolutions. It's obviously pretty fitting. So, I've got a couple, actually 3 little quotes from the Way. So, bear with me here. I'm going to talk about each one of them. So, the first one is 251. And again, this is on Lenten resolutions. So, this one's short. Tomorrow, sometimes it is prudence. Many times it is the adverb of the defeated. So, when you tell yourself you'll get back to it tomorrow, be sure you do that. And we're talking about Lenten promises here. So, we're a little over a week, we're over 2 weeks into Lent. Or wait, it was less than 1. We're less than a week into, but anyways, some of you guys may have already failed in your Lenten resolutions. That doesn't mean you should give up. Tell yourself, tomorrow, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to continue to do it. But make sure when you tell yourself tomorrow, you're going to do the things necessary to make that happen. Andrew mentioned last week that you need to, in order to add something into your day, you've got to take something out. So if you're going to go to adoration for 10 minutes, you've got to take 10 minutes out of something. So if you're failing in your promise, be sure to think about how you're going to implement it the next day. And make sure your tomorrows actually have meaning. Make sure that they're not just falling through, and then you end up, not giving in or not sticking with your promise. So, the next one is 254, and it kind of lines up with the first one. So now, return to your noble life. Don't let yourself be fooled. Now is not too soon, nor too late. I'm going to read it one more time. Now, return to your noble life now. Don't let yourself be fooled. Now is not too soon, nor too late. So, at the same time as the first one, along with the first one, like I said, immediately make a resolution to fix it. Whenever you fail, you wake up the next morning and realize, oh no, I didn't do my promise. Think about how you're going to do that, like practically. Because, as human beings, we're practical beings. So just think about how that coming day you're going to implement that promise. And so if you fail, if maybe you gave up something and you gave up fruit. I don't know why I would give up fruit ever, but if you ate an apple and walking back to your dorm from the cafeteria, you realize, oh no, I gave up apples for Lent, or I gave up fruit for Lent. You gotta start now. You gotta think about, how am I gonna do this? How am I not gonna make sure that I don't do this tomorrow? Maybe it's you don't go to the cafeteria the next day. That's a very poor example, but I thought it'd be kind of funny. And so not only decide now that you're going to do that, decide that you're going to make that change in your life, pray about it. Say a quick prayer. And when you pray about things continually, they start to become implemented in your mind. If you're constantly praying about it, you're constantly reminding yourself of it. And so then you don't forget. You're less likely to forget, if that makes sense. So prayer not only gives you supernatural strength, which you don't see, it also gives you natural strength. Helps you to build habits. So always keep that in mind. Not only in keeping promises, but that helps you in daily life, just in anything. Always pray about things. And so the last thing is 253. Conduct yourself well now, without looking back on yesterday, which is really gone, and without worrying about tomorrow, which for you may never come. One more time. Conduct yourself well now, without looking back on yesterday, which is really gone, and without worrying about tomorrow, which for you may never come. Just gotta take that in. So whenever you make a mistake, the past is the past, guys. There's nothing you can do about it. It's there. You've got to just move forward and just try your best to make it better in the future. So don't worry about the past. Worrying about things in the past doesn't do anyone good. It gets you down, and if you're down, then other people are down, and it makes you more likely to mess up again in the future. So don't worry about the past. Don't worry about messing up. Don't worry about the promises you have broken. Worry about what you can do to make sure you don't break those promises in the future. And always keep in mind that the future is in God's hands. So along with forgetting the past, don't worry too much about the future either. It's good to make plans, but don't get too caught up in them. Because if you get too attached to something, and then it ends up not happening, then you're let down. So don't set yourself up. So with looping this back to Lent, if you set yourself up thinking you set yourself several different Lenten promises, like 5 or 6, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to be perfect throughout Lent. I'm going to stick to every single one of them. And I'm not saying that's impossible. It's possible. But don't, get so attached to fulfilling all 6 of those promises that when you fail, you get really down on yourself, and then it affects your other promises, if that makes sense. So like I said, make plans, but realize the future is in God's plans, God's hands. And so, with the last part of that quote, now is all we're guaranteed. You never know if you're gonna, live for tomorrow. So just make the best of the moment. Like I said, don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future too much. Make plans, but realize that it's in God's hands. And just try to make it the best of now. What can you do now that will make you a better person? What can you do now that will bring others closer to Christ? Keep that in mind as you live every moment of your life. And then, so in summary, forget the past, plan and pray for the future, but make the best of the moment. And I actually lied. There's one more. So 256. So this last one is kind of off key, but it's still under Lenten resolutions. That wound is painful, but it is well on its way to being healed. Be firm in your resolutions, and the pain will soon turn into